Hello everybody, it's Jen. I'm back with a card. I decided to do the Lawn Fawnatics challenge number 11, which is to create a card for kids. So I'm using the Lawn Fawn Ahoy Matey. I colored these all out prior to the video using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. And now I'm just going to start creating the background. So this challenge was to create a card for kids. And so I wanted to create this kind of encouragement card for my brother's kids. So he has 3, so I have 2 nephews and a niece. And I thought it would just be fun to do something cute, wishing them well back to school. They've actually moved, so they're going to a new school, and I just wanted them to know that I thought that they were awesome and to wish them good luck. So for this sand, I'm using scattered straw and brushed corduroy. I've sped this up quite a bit, and the piece of paper that I'm using in the background is just a normal piece of cardstock laminated. I find this is a really great way to blend and then to clean up afterwards. So I'm just using some Lawn Fawn stitched borders here to create some of the sand hills. I turned that laminated paper around, and now I'm going to work on the water. I'm using Salty Ocean and Mermaid Lagoon. I wanted to have really bright blue water because I colored with the zigs and I didn't use any water to blend them. I just blended them with themselves. There's Piper. I had to get her off my desk so I could continue. And the colors are very vibrant with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers when you don't use water to blend them. So I wanted this water to match the vibrancy of the images. So I'm just going to finish up the blending. I'm going to spray it using my Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer, using a well-loved piece of paper towel here to lift up that water. And I wanted it to be quite splotchy so that it would give it some very nice texture. I'm going to use these My Favorite Things wave dies here, and I've cut out 3 different pieces from that panel. And now you're going to watch me kind of create a card where I had a sort of idea of what I wanted to do but wasn't quite sure. So this is a piece of regular 110-pound cardstock from Michael, so you can see the difference in the blending. The other piece I used was the Bristol Smooth cardstock, which allows the Distress inks just to blend amazingly. But I just didn't want to use it for the background panel. So you can see here I'm starting to lay out. I thought I wanted to use 2 layers of the sand. I end up using 1. And then when I get these down, I see that that back panel is a little bit darker blue. So I'm just going to come back in with the Salty Ocean, and I'm going to darken up those waves so that they match with that background panel a little bit better. So once I get those done, I'm going to start putting everything in place. Here's where I decide that I just want to use that 1 panel of the sand because I knew that I wanted to put 3 of the little pirates on this card to represent each of my 2 nephews and niece. So I'm using my ATG. I'm going to adhere these down. I wanted this scene to just be water and sand, so I didn't want there to be a sky. That's why I had to go back in and do the distress inking there at the top of that panel. So I'm going to get those down, and then I'm going to trim them off because I did have that paper cut longer than a 5.5 width, just so that I could trim up where I needed to once I started to get everything in place. So I decided here that I wanted to put the sand portion of the card up on some fun foam to give it a little bit of dimension because of the fact that the 3 layers of the waves created quite a bit of dimension on the card. So this would not have sat on top of it well if I didn't put some fun foam behind it. You could use Scotch 3M adhesive if you have that. I just find the fun foam is a little bit more economical, and for big pieces like this, it does the job quickly. So I do have to trim this piece up as well. So I'm just going to pull out my trimmer here And I have this sitting on top of my stamping tool, so it didn't cut great, but it cut enough that I could very easily just take my scissors and trim that off. And now that I have that panel done, I'm going to work on the sentiment. And I'm just using the sentiment from the stamp set that says, "You are amazing." And I'm going to use my VersaFine Black Onyx ink here. I ended up dropping it. I had ink everywhere. This card was kind of messy and fun. I had distress ink all over my fingers, and then I had black ink all over my fingers. I got it on the magnet. I'm just going to clean that off with my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. And then I'm going to pull that out, and I'm ready to start creating the scene for the card. So I'm going to adhere this on, again using some ATG adhesive. I find this is great, strong adhesive. I was trying to be careful not to put my fingers in the sentiment because VersaFine does take longer to dry, so I was trying to be mindful of that so I didn't get it all over the sand. Now I'm going to put the little colored elements in place using my Nuvo liquid adhesive. So I'm going to use a couple of these palm trees, and I wanted to put the boat in the water in the background just so that it was visually appealing to the back part of that card. So now I'm going to start laying out my little characters here and figuring out what I want them to be holding and what else I want to add to the scene. And once I get that sort of laid out, then I'll start adhering those images as well. And for this card, I'm just using the glue. I'm not adding any more dimension to the card because of the dimension that I put on the back of the sand. So I'm giving this little guy the parrot, which I think is adorable. And then I'm going to put the treasure chest down and adhere these pretty much as they looked as I laid them out. So I'm trying to participate more in the Lawn Fawnatics challenges and really kind of challenge myself to follow along with something so that I can maybe sort of get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I don't do very many kids cards, even though my style is very clean and simple and cute, but I definitely made this in mind with sending these to my nephews and niece. So I wanted that one little guy to hold one of the jewels, and then I thought I better add some jewels to the bottom of the treasure chest just to finish it off and make it look like it's overloading with treasure. So that's my card for today. I hope you guys had fun watching, and thanks for joining me. I will see you in the next video. Bye!